Gentlemen, I trust that you're okay. Welcome to the other side, man. I hope you're getting used to this studio, man. In a fucking this content shit. So this is a new series, man. As you can see on the title, we're going to be exploring 48 laws of power. We're going to be reading through all of these laws. It's a very deep book. Something that you have, to survive in this world. You have to know these laws of power. So, I'm not gonna waste a lot of time talking shit. I'm just gonna jump into it. So, the first law of power is never outshine the master. Okay, so basically, I'm not going to be reading the whole thing from the book. I just summarized and took important points, and then I wrote them down in my notebook and stuff. So, okay, listen to this. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior. In your desire to please and impress them, do not go too far in displaying your talents, or you might accomplish the opposite. Inspire fear and insecurity. Make your masters appear more brilliant than they are, and you attain heights of power. So basically, what this one is saying is talking about, in those situations where you feel like you've learned a lot and you know a lot. Maybe sometimes you actually know a lot, than your teacher and stuff, like than your superior or your boss. Sometimes it's better to humble yourself and ask questions and pretend that you don't know, even if they say something that is wrong. Don't like confront them directly where there's everyone, trying to prove that you are smart and shit, because I don't think it will get you anywhere far. You can go, behind after you're done with the class or lesson, or the meeting. You go behind and then you discuss it with your boss. But I think, boss, what, if you have different information, or I read somewhere, don't try to appear, superior, like you know more, like you are more talented than the boss. As it says in this sources, in this statement, you to inspire fear and insecurity. And when someone who is superior to you, who is scared of you, or feel insecure around you, they will most likely sabotage you, and you won't succeed, whether you are in class or you are at work. So yeah, and then the second point says everyone has insecurities. When you show yourself in the world and display your talents, you naturally stir up all kinds of resentment, envy, and other manifestations of insecurity. This is to be accepted. You cannot spend your life worrying about the petty feelings of others. With those above you, however, you must take a different approach. When it comes to power, outshining the master is perhaps the worst mistake of all. Yeah, uh, as it says in this sources, as it says in this also statement, you can't walk around being scared to piss off everyone. That the never outshine the master only applies to people who are above you, who you are trying to become. But you can't walk around being scared like shit of basically everyone, because eventually, naturally, you're going to stay up, envy and resentment and insecurities just by who you are, type shit. So that only applies to the masters. And in this law, he gave out a story where he gave out it. Robert Greene, by the way, is the author of 48 Laws of Power. So it talks about a story about, is it Louis the 14th, yeah, it must be Louis the 14th, where his vice president, I don't know, I wouldn't say general vice president, I'm not really sure how it was stated. When he wanted to impress Louis the 14th, he threw a bigger party and everything, and invited everyone he knew. So when Louis came, the party was for him, but that party made him feel so insecure that this guy knew a lot of people, and the party was the greatest party ever thrown, and it made the general look more like I mean, he was the treasurer. Yeah, the guy was the treasurer. He made the treasurer look more, more famous and more appealing than the king. So the next day, the same treasurer, and they were friends, by the way, with the king, but he wanted to impress him. The next day, he was arrested. He said he stole money from the treasury, and some of this money they had stolen to them together with the king, but he took the blame, and then he was arrested, and they took him away. So those are the situations you get into when you try to prove that you are more superior This one, he was not trying to prove he was superior, but in trying to please, even in some cases where you're trying to please, trying to, kiss ass and shit, you stir up envy and resentment type shit. So you need to do it carefully, especially with successful people, because it's easy to determine. Never imagine that because the master loves you, you can do anything you want. Yeah, and just from the story that I was telling you about, the same treasurer, Louis used to, loved him a lot, and they used to do a lot of stuff. They misquoting me, but either way, he ended up getting arrested. So just because you are in a loved position, or you're the favorite type shit, or you're one of the favorites, doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. Inevitably, you run out of favors, or a new favorite usually arises. So never assume and never do what you want assuming that you are the favorite. Then the next point says, knowing the dangers of outshining the master, you can turn this to your advantage. First, you must flatter and puff up the master. Overt flattery can be effective, but it has its limits. It is too direct and obvious and looks bad to other courtiers. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, when you try to kiss ass and stuff, that's overt flattery. It can be effective, but it can be effective at first, but it has its limits, because it's too direct and obvious, and it looks, while you're kissing yes, to others it looks, it looks funny and shit, they look at you as corny. So yeah, let me continue. The strict flattery is much more powerful. So instead of doing overt flattery where you obviously compliment, trying to do all the shit, all the trying to do too much, you can use discreet flattery. If you are much more intelligent than your master, seem the opposite type shit. That's, being, trying to be district. Make him appear more intelligent than you act naive. Make it seem that you need his expertise. Commit harmless mistakes that will not hurt you in the long run, but will give you the chance to ask for help. Doing small mistakes, so that they can correct you and help you and guide you and stuff. That's a more of an indirect way, to puff up their ego and shit, rather than, doing it directly. And then, yeah, okay. Masters adore such requests. A master who cannot bestow you on the gifts of his experience may direct rancor, and it will direct rancor and ill will at you instead. So yeah, they need to feel like they are coaching you, their experiences, they are teaching you their experiences. And if they are not teaching you their experience, they might direct some bad energy towards you. So of course they are not getting it from you and stuff. And okay, mm, go to the next point. In all the cases, in all these cases, it is not a weakness to disguise your strength. In all these cases, it is not a weakness to disguise your strengths if in the end they lead to power. So yeah, as the point suggests, you may like, but why do I need to kiss ass and do everything? The thing is, if you want to advance, basically, I mean, in any realm, you need you obviously started at the low, and then you increase in ranks, but eventually you become, the top shark, the top boss. So of course, these are the things you do when you're at the bottom. You kiss ass, you try to not, outshine the master and stuff. Slowly, you even become stronger than the master, to the point where you become the master. So it's not about just, straight up boom challenging everyone where you go. Achieving power, it's a strategic thing, and you go through a lot of stages and stuff. So here is the reversal of the law. Thought I had to get off and stuff. So here's the reversal of the law. You cannot worry about upsetting every person, okay? We've talked about this. You come across, but you must be selectively cruel. Okay. Yeah, you must be selectively cruel. Okay. If your superior is a falling star, there is nothing to fear from outshining him. So yeah, when your superior man is in a position where about they're about to get fired, they're losing or they're getting old, people no longer like them, they're about to be removed from their position. He said you must be selectively cruel. It's a matter where you are really outshine the master, where you where you accelerate, where you really fucking outshine the master, showing him, that you are better. Maybe you're even campaigning for the same position. And then yeah, and then do not be merciful. Your master had no such scruples in his own cold blooded climb to the top. Gauge his strength, gauge his strength. If he is weak, discreetly hasten his downfall. Outdo, outharm, outdo, outcharm, outsmart him at key moments. If he is weak and ready to fall, let nature take its course. So yeah, he's saying do not do not be merciful, because your master wasn't merciful also when he was trying to get to the top. So yeah, outdo, outsmart everything, outwork at key moments. When he's falling down, or sometimes it's just best to let him fall on his own. You know, in achieve the master. So that's the reversal. So the law one on the 48 laws of power: never outshine the master. You don't try to outperform. And then the reversal of the law is when your master is weak. That's when you strike. So that's the first law. Yeah, I'm going to create a playlist to make it a series on the 48 laws of power. So this was the first law: never outshine the master. The first law. Book by Robert Greene. Really great book. I'm also reading it slow. We'll go together, do the shit together. So yeah, that's basically it for today. We'll continue with the fucking chapter and series and see. Slaughter out.